Safety Toolbox Talk number 311. SOP for Confined Space Entry. 1. Purpose. The purpose of this SOP is to establish the necessary steps and safety precautions for the safe entry and work within confined spaces. 2. Scope. This SOP applies to all personnel who are required to enter confined spaces as part of their job duties. It covers procedures for assessing confined space hazards, preparation for entry, and emergency response protocols. 3. Definitions. Confined space, a space that is large enough and so configured that an employee can bodily enter and perform assigned work, but has limited or restricted means for entry or exit. It is not designed for continuous human occupancy. 4. Responsibilities. Confined space entry supervisor. Ensure all personnel are properly trained. Oversee the monitoring of atmospheric conditions. Authorize confined space entry with a permit. Entrance. Ensure personal protective equipment, PPE, is worn. Follow entry and exit procedures. Attendance. Remain outside the confined space to monitor the entrance. Maintain constant communication with the entrance. Be prepared to initiate rescue operations if necessary. Rescue team. Be trained in confined space rescue techniques. Have the appropriate rescue equipment available. Respond immediately if a rescue situation arises. Four. Responsibilities. Rescue team. Be trained in confined space rescue techniques. Have the appropriate rescue equipment available. Respond immediately if a rescue situation arises. 5. Hazard assessment. Before entering any confined space, a comprehensive hazard assessment must be performed to identify potential hazards such as hazardous atmosphere, oxygen deficiency, presence of toxic gases or vapors. Physical hazards, mechanical equipment, moving parts, hot surfaces. Engulfment or entrapment hazards. Slips, trips, and falls. Noise, extreme temperatures, or other environmental factors. A confined space entry permit must be completed and signed by the confined space entry supervisor before entry is allowed. Six. Entry permit requirements. The confined space entry permit must include location and description of the confined space, identification of hazards and necessary controls, required PPE e.g. gloves, respirators, protective clothing, atmospheric testing results e.g. oxygen levels, presence of toxic gases, communication methods between entrance and attendants. Names of the entrance, attendants, and supervisors. Emergency procedures and contact information. The permit must be posted at the entry point and remain in effect for the duration of the work. Seven. Atmospheric testing. Oxygen levels. Ensure oxygen levels are between 19.5% and 23.5% before entry. Continuous atmospheric monitoring is required during the entire duration of entry. Hazardous gases/vapors. Test for hazardous gases, including but not limited to carbon monoxide, hydrogen sulfide, methane, or other toxic gases. Use calibrated gas detectors to monitor air quality throughout the entry. Ventilation. If hazardous gases are detected, proper ventilation must be provided before entry. Continuous mechanical ventilation may be necessary to ensure a safe environment. 8. Personal protective equipment, PPE. Respiratory protection. Use as necessary based on atmospheric testing results, e.g. air-supplied respirators, self-contained breathing apparatus, SCBA. Fall protection. Use a fall protection harness with a lifeline if there is a risk of falling. Eye and face protection. Provide safety goggles or face shields if necessary for the task. Nine. Entry and work procedures. Pre-entry briefing. Conduct a meeting with all involved personnel to discuss the hazards, safety procedures, emergency protocols, and roles. Lockout/tagout, LOTO. Ensure all energy sources are isolated before entry, e.g. electricity, mechanical equipment. Verification of safe entry. Confirm that the confined space is free of hazards, and that all safety measures are in place before allowing entry. Communication. Ensure constant communication between the entrance and the attendant. Use two-way radios or other communication equipment, if necessary. Monitoring. Continuous monitoring of atmospheric conditions, and continuous observation of entrance by the attendant. Emergency procedures. Rescue plan. A detailed rescue plan must be in place and readily accessible. The rescue plan should include specific procedures for removing entrants from the confined space. Rescue teams must be equipped with appropriate tools and PPE to perform a safe rescue. In the event of an emergency, evacuate the confined space immediately if any hazardous condition is detected or if the entrant experiences distress. Alert emergency responders and initiate the rescue procedure as outlined in the emergency plan. Rescue equipment. Provide non-entry rescue equipment, e.g., retrieval devices, lifelines, to assist with removing personnel in case of emergency. 11. Training. All personnel involved in confined space entry must receive training on the following: confined space hazards and control measures. Use of atmospheric monitoring equipment. Proper use of PPE and rescue equipment. Confined space entry and emergency response procedures. Training must be conducted regularly, and refresher courses should be given as needed. 12. Documentation and record keeping. Keep detailed records of each confined space entry, including the entry permit, atmospheric testing results, PPE inspections, and any incidents or near misses. Maintain training records for all personnel involved in confined space work. Review and revision. This SOP must be reviewed periodically to ensure it reflects current practices, regulations, and safety standards. Revisions should be made based on incident reports, new equipment, or updated regulations. Thank you.